Light your blunts, get your drinks. The show's about to begin. Welcome to the Goose Show. We got Pomona in the building. Talk about the aliens, the government betrayed you. Talk about the flying saucers seeing from the building. Higher than I'm feeling, they look rather appealing. The Goose Show, they abducting the human race. Aliens appearing, moving in outer space. Ancient text mentions I'm sharing wisdom with all. But humans don't be listening, rather start them a war. Fucking off the planet, pollution causing the damage. I'm chilling in Pomona where homies talking in Spanish. Let the world know about Pomona teaching the mass. Shout out to Kev Mac, Oma Bradley and my kids. My wifey too, because they know I'm a survivor. 5 shots couldn't take me down cause I'm a rider. Then was on the ventilator, still I had to rise up. Telling y'all the truth, man, I'm here to remind you. It's only up for me from now to the future. Thanks for your support and I'ma give you what you used to. Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding what they demanding. So look out for the aliens, they landing. The Goose Show, we got Pomona in the building. Talk about the aliens, the government betrayed you. Talk about the flying saucers seeing from the building. Higher than I'm feeling, they look rather appealing. The Goose Show, we got Pomona in the building. Talk about the aliens, the government betrayed you. Talk about the flying saucers seeing from the building. Higher than I'm feeling, they look rather.
Welcome to the Goob Show. I am Goob, representing Pomona in these YouTube streets 2 days in a row. Shout out to all my South Side homies. Village in the house, representing. Come on for the second day because the president had to speak up on these UFOs that they shot down, or these unidentified objects that they shot down. I did a show last night. That's why it's shocking. I'm doing 2 in a row. But some of this shit needs to be spoke on. Somebody got to speak on this shit. Because it's confusing what they saying. There ain't nobody listening. But it's all right. I'm going to still talk about it. Whether people believe or not. You're going to learn. You're going to mind somebody. Especially what the government is trying to tell us. If you don't see between the lines of what they're saying, I'm going to break it down to you. Your first time here, subscribe to the channel. If you like this content, like it. If you don't, hit the don't like. Not sure I get enough viewers anyway that's going to affect me. So I really don't mind either way. But I appreciate you, subscribing to the channel. Check me out because I'm going to talk about UFOs during the week. Got a channel. I talk to my homies on Sundays. Shout out to all my niggas that come on Southside Sundays. We can continue that. Good conversation growing me and shit. Niggas over 50, 40 years in existence with each other that can talk about that good shit without arguing, bickering, or anything like that. Cool shit. But tonight, I do have a couple videos that I'm going to run at the end. But at the beginning, I want y'all to, if you weren't here yesterday and you didn't see the question and answer that they had during the Super Bowl. Well, but everybody was looking at the Super Bowl, and they did this under the guise of the Super Bowl. Something got shot down on Super Bowl Sunday, but I couldn't understand why they did it during the Super Bowl. Because some of the shit that they said, you'll hear that the president also says again. I'm going to run back a little bit of what I ran yesterday. It's with the Secretary Dalton and General Van Hurt, I think his name is. And the crazy thing about it, if you listen to it, he basically tells you that they saying that they found pieces. And then in another instance, this general is saying that their radar went out. The main, other than that, one of the other main interesting facts or whatever they're saying they had to upgrade their radar system to catch something slow, non-moving. I thought shit, even on the streets is speed radar. They're not trying to tag a person that's going slow. What's up, Caleb Productions? You know what I'm saying? OG Entertainment TV. Shout out to you, homie. You know what I'm saying? Um, appreciate you coming in. First time I done seen you here. Hope you subscribe to the channel, homie. Check out what I got to say. But I'm gonna let you hear what they said. They're upgrading their radar for something that's going slow. Doesn't make any fucking sense. You can pick up an airline, a passenger plane. You could pick up one of your high speed planes. You could pick up rockets, but you can't pick up something going slow. And they say it. This is not me saying it. This is what they said. KCLs, appreciate you stopping through. Seeing you in a while. Appreciate you. It's been a while. Yes, it has. But I'm gonna go what I played yesterday. I kind of broke it down a little bit yesterday. Shout out to Omar. Shout out to Neighborhood Real for stopping by with the content yesterday. I'm gonna do the same thing, but like I said, the president spoke on it and basically repeated what these people said on Sundays. The problem I have is that you guys were quick as hell to show us what the balloon looked like. When it hit the ground, boy, you had Marines out there pulling out the water. You shot down 3 objects and you ain't showed us nothing. I hope you don't show us no shit like you did in 47 Roswell. Showed us some metallic paper shit. Because whatever you hit, you had to use a rocket. And even in the question that they asked him on Super Bowl Sunday is, why did you have to go to that length of using a rocket to shoot this down? Because what they're saying is it caused they say in one instance it caused a threat, and they say in another it didn't cause a threat. What's good with your aunt? G-Man in the house. What's on with S's, homie? For sure. Archangel. Appreciate you. So yeah, let me just get into it just a little bit. I just want y'all to hear what they say. I'm gonna cut it, break it, because I want to actually go to the president and what he says. Don't scare us. So don't tell us or show us nothing. But in fact, it didn't have communication. That's what they're going to say. They tried to communicate whatever the object was just sitting in the sky, because I haven't found, well, I did do a recording. I haven't found a real good audible of the pilots and what they say, because they're saying that they seen, one pilot says he's seen something like an octagon. When you listen to what these people say on Sunday, they basically say it's an object. It could have a balloon inside this object. So he's not truly acknowledging what the pilot said. But in another instance, sideways, he is, because he's not saying that the pilot is lying. They hit it and didn't bring it down. Exactly, G-Man. One of them, because you hear the general say they lost radar of the object. They shot at the object and lost it. So that wasn't just one of these orbs that just sit in the sky like we see I have a couple of videos at the end that you see just sitting there. This one had to be moving. Also, one of the pilots has said, they haven't brought it out yet, it will come out, that one of the pilots said they seen instruments in this object that he was about to shoot down, that they told him shoot down. So that may not be the object that they found or got. Let me see. Archangel. And this just didn't start. They just want to tell you now because they can't stop the influx of the 144,000 coming at their heads of state and government. And they're shooting them down. Listen, you're exactly right, Archangel, because the president and him also say it. And it's a lady in here in this question and answer that they did Sunday. She asks them. She asked them, why are you just shooting them down now after the China balloon? As if they weren't here before the China balloon. They've always been in our airspace. We've been seeing them. We're filming them. There's more film UFOs on TikTok and Instagram and whatnot that they've always been here pre this Chinese balloon that supposedly came across all the way across the United States. And now they're trying to get back for that failure of letting that balloon that they knew was a balloon go all the way across. And so 3 days after that, everything they see, they shooting down. Well, more of them coming because, like the title said, if we keep shooting them down, you don't think whoever these objects are a part of ain't gonna come looking for their objects? And then I want you to hear what the president has to basically say of what he's saying that they're seeing in the sky. Look up interview with pilot shot unidentified. Okay. I'm gonna look it up while I run this. I want you guys to listen, and you're gonna take some key words out of this question and answer that they had to brief the people during Super Bowl. You want to brief the people, but you're gonna have it during Super Bowl. So I'm gonna show you why. Okay, how are you briefing the people? And there's more people looking at the Super Bowl than anything else during the year. That's the most people is going to be looking at one specific event, and you're going to have a question and answer. Just listen to some of the questions and answer. Candace Kane, shout out to you. Appreciate you stopping through. You say, but remember, they can show you anything with the news. They can play tricks with the TV, but the people that's filming it, yeah. I mean, that's what they're trying to do with the news. Because if you listen to, this news question and answer, you'll get what I'm saying.
Notice and on Super Bowl Sunday here in the U.S., no less. In light of tonight's takedown of an airborne object over Lake Huron, Michigan, we wanted to ensure you had the latest information and also answer any questions you have in order to provide any additional context on NORAD's efforts to monitor, track, and appropriately address these kinds of objects. Joining us tonight is Assistant Secretary of Defense for Homeland Defense and Hemispheric Affairs, Melissa Dalton, and General Glenn Van Herk, Commander of North American Aerospace Defense Command and U.S. Northern Command. Today's discussion is on the record. I'll turn it over to Assistant Secretary Dalton, who will provide some brief comments, followed by General Van Herk, and then we'll take your questions. With that, over to you, Secretary Dalton.
Great. Thanks so much, Pat. And good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining the call. We aim to be transparent about our military operations, and so we wanted to provide an update on the most recent Homeland Defense operations that occurred this afternoon. I'm going to provide a brief overview and then turn to General Van Herk to provide an operational perspective as well. In light of the People's Republic of China balloon that we took down last Saturday, we have been more closely scrutinizing our airspace at these altitudes, including enhancing our radar, which may at least partly explain the increase in objects that we've detected over the past week.
Now you hear that bullshit lie right there? They're enhancing their radar system, and that's why they're seeing them frequently now. Now that doesn't make any sense because the way that they saying that they enhanced their radar system to see shit going slower that's not moving. You should be able to see that with your eye, if that's the fucking case. If you're trying to look for shit that's just going real slow rather than fast as shit. But they enhancing their radar system. This is what she said. This is why we seeing so many of them, people, because they enhanced their radar system.
We also know that a range of entities, including countries, companies, research organizations, operate objects at these altitudes for purposes that are not nefarious, including legitimate research. That said, because we have not yet been able to definitively assess what these recent objects are, we have acted.
Key word there. They don't know what the objects are. Still, well, this was on Sunday. I have to let the president speak. So as of Sunday, when they knocked this last one down, because they didn't get the other two that they knocked down on Friday and earlier Saturday. They ain't got to that debris yet. Because they would know with one of them. But I think this one on Friday, I don't think they shot down. And the general's going to say it, basically.
Out of an abundance of caution to protect our security and interests. The spy balloon from the PRC was, of course, different in that we knew precisely what it was. These most recent objects do not pose a kinetic military threat, but they're passed in proximity to sensitive DoD sites, and the altitude that they were flying could be a hazard to civilian aviation and thus raise concerns. Again, as we have said, we do not assess.
But I have video of people, they didn't look into some of these videos that you see of people showing, filming out the plane. I done posted a few of them. I have a few of my collection of videos posted yet. But there's multiple times that people have filmed out of passenger planes, so they always been around. The point of it is you making it specific that you just gonna shoot this shit down. We, as a country, we've always been known to do shit that don't make any sense, that has no reaction. Because if they're saying they don't know where they came from, ain't no country claim responsibility. China ain't, North Korea hasn't, Africa hasn't, Canada hasn't. The U.S. shit is over the U.S., but they're gonna say it's some kind of company testing some shit. So that company didn't say, man, you just shot down $1 billion instrument out the sky, because it gotta cost somewhere around there, 100, a million, something. Shit, I'm pretty sure rockets that's going to the moon and all that cost that amount or close to it, 20, 30 million. So if you had an object that just sitting in the sky, ain't communicating with you, doing what it want to do with no control to it, but it ain't nobody, no other country's object, and it's a company that's in the United States that just built it just to fly some shit, they ain't gonna be like, man, you shot my $1 million down. What, Bezos doing this shit? Or what you call them, Microsoft, dude? Nah, they just
the recent objects pose any direct threat to people on the ground, and we are laser focused on confirming their nature and purpose, including through intensive efforts.
It didn't cause, she already said, if you listen to her, it caused no threat to military. Okay. She said there's no cause, we have no idea that there's a threat to humans. So fuck it, we just gonna shoot the shit down. Somebody finna come back and look for their shit. Wherever you're like, nigga, where the homies go? It's like the homies and left and went to the store. You know what I'm saying? From their ship, and he didn't come back. You gonna go look for your homie? Like, where my homie at? Somebody want to know. Somebody has to have some responsibility. But once again, we doing some other shit, just like we did shooting that missile at that meteor 600 miles, light years away from us in a whole nother galaxy, a whole nother, don't know nothing about that shit. We just shot it to move it out of space. They got a fucked up shit for years out there. This might come back to haunt. Because we're going to see more and more. If we see more and more, man, like I said, when I say this shit, all I will ask is that when it happened, that nigga Goob said that shit. That's all. Just continue to look up. You'll start seeing them more and more. But what happened to its defense? Right. But if it, listen, KCL, if you're not, maybe you're not on that violent shit. You just trying to get away. You know what I'm saying? Because for whatever reason, the first one, they lost that. The other ones, they could have just been orbs. I don't know. To be honest with you, KCFs, I don't know what happened to their defenses. Obviously, they didn't have none. If they're aliens, they ain't talking about homies. Man, that's just a figure of speech, my brother. You know what I'm saying? Don't take that person. That's just a figure of speech. As I put in the title, they could comrades, they could friends, kin. I don't know what they say in their language. You understand what I'm talking about. They going to look for their peoples. You know what I'm saying? Babyface Loaster. I appreciate you stopping through, homie. You know what I'm saying? Oh, just talking my shit. So yeah, take it literally. I know, you know what I'm saying? It's hard for people to believe. I get that. But you got to explain to me who's taking responsibility for what was knocked down in. Somebody has to take responsibility for these items that may cost $1 million, 100,000, 200,000, anything. They took it as a threat to shoot 3 of them down, or 2 of them, because if you listen to the general, when I continue on with this video, you'll hear him. They lost it in the radar.
To collect debris in the remote locations where they have landed after being shot down. We are in close coordination and cooperation with the Government of Canada, as well as through NORAD with the Canadian military. Thanks very much. Look forward to your questions, and I'll have you Van Hart.
Thanks, Secretary Dalton. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you today and provide you an update. Every day, North American Aerospace Defense Command and United States Northern Command monitor the approaches to North America and the United States of America.
Now this guy here is going to break it down. He's going to give the time when they got him on radar. This is obviously the first one. But if you listen clearly to him, he's going to say that they lost it in the radar. They found it again, and then they lost it. So when they're saying they're going to go get some debris, there is no debris for this one. Because they don't even know if it went down or where it went down. Their assumption is where they shot it at. So their defenses could have been getting the fuck out the way real quick. And go back, hey, man, they shooting at us down there. There ain't no telling. We'll see in a few weeks, a month, or days. We'll know.
Across all domains. And yesterday evening, approximately 16:45 or 4:45 Eastern Time on 11 February, NORAD detected a radar contact in Canadian airspace, approximately 70 or so miles north of the United States border. We began tracking that radar contact, and when it became clear it was unknown, following normal NORAD procedures, it was not talking to the Federal Aviation Administration.
See, the Federal Aviation was trying to communicate with whatever object was in the sky. He's saying they wasn't communicating back with us. They didn't know what the fuck he was saying. Probably they was like, fuck is he saying? They ain't saying. So it had to be either a tower that it was by, a pilot trying to get at him, somebody. I don't know how he's saying this, what they sent up some kind of laser message or some shit. I don't know what he's saying, but he's saying it. Ain't nobody gonna understand what the fuck he's saying. It sounds good, though.
No squawk and approaching our air defense identification zone. I scrambled F-15 fighters from Portland, Oregon, along with a KC-135 tanker support from Fairchild Air Force Base, Washington, to go investigate, to identify what the radar contact was. At 1800 Eastern or 6 p.m. Eastern, the radar track crossed into the United States sovereign airspace. At 7:04 Eastern time, the F-15s with their tanker support were on station to investigate. We continued to investigate. What's important to point out, this is near dark, within a half hour, 45 minutes of dark. We continued to investigate, to identify, locate the object. We were unsuccessful. It's also important to point out in this part of the United States, we did not have data link for queuing.
So he has to put in that, gotta understand it was dark. So when he says this bullshit that we lost him in radar, people will be like, oh, yeah, it was dark. He said it was, almost dark. So they couldn't see it.
Like we had before. Data link allows the radars on the ground to share information to the fighters airborne, allowing them to cue their sensors and their visual acuity in an attempt to visually identify the track. At sunset, we were unable to find the track. Also, our radar operators lost the track on radar, and the FAA was never tracking the radar. Therefore, that's why we called it an anomaly, because we weren't able to identify it.
See, he's saying they wasn't able to identify it, so they knew it wasn't made by nothing on. Come on. Y'all got to hear what the president got to say, because he got something to say about that.
Several hours later, overnight, we began seeing an intermittent radar contact east of the position in Montana as it approached Wisconsin. At that point, we developed a game plan once we started seeing another radar contact to go investigate. It's likely, but we have not confirmed that the track that we saw in Wisconsin was likely the same track in Montana. We elected to scramble with the best position to intercept if we needed to engage with the lowest collateral damage, and that was in the eastern portion of Wisconsin, just prior to Lake Michigan, when the fighters became on.
I don't know if y'all caught that before. I just let it kept running, but he says he don't even know if that was the same object that they had before in radar, because they lost the first one in radar. They just happened to be riding around in the same area and figured, here comes something else in the radar. Oh, let's get that one. Now, when he said, hold on, let me. Now, when he said they were unsuccessful with the throw it off, what he wanted to say, it was beyond our technology. True that. That's facts, Casey Elves. And they basically saying it. Like I said, that's why they did this question and answer under the skies of the Super Bowl. Because if you break down what this dude is saying, you know that whatever this was out of shit. This planetary what ability? Anything on this planet's ability, it was doing shit that probably the pilots was recording back. That's why you need to get the pilots transponders and the shit they was talking about. Because they probably was saying, man, this motherfucker is doing some crazy shit before we lost it. In the galaxy. There you go. In the galaxy.
The track of interest at that time. We monitored the track of interest as it passed over Lake Michigan. We assessed that it was no threat, physical threat, military threat, critical infrastructure. That's my assessment. It continues to be today. However, at this point, we still have an unknown, and it forces a broader discussion about what is this object that's in our U.S. Sovereign airspace. It's within our Federal Aviation Administration airspace, not providing any communications, not providing any notice that could potentially help us deconflict. And therefore, we wanted to investigate further. We did. It tracked across the upper peninsula of Michigan. We were cleared to engage the target in eastern upper peninsula of Michigan, overland, and ultimately down the object at this point, about 15 nautical miles east of the upper peninsula in Lake Huron. What we saw is an object that began drifting, potentially most likely landed in Canadian waters in Lake Huron. And we have ongoing recovery operations with Coast Guard assets moving towards this area. I would like to highlight this entire time. I remained in contact with my Canadian boss, General Wayne Air. The Canadians were very...
That's his explanation. Now, I'm gonna go to, because I haven't went to the questions and answers when they ask him these straight questions. And once again, they keep bringing up this radar. We slowed down the radar, and that's why we seeing them so much now. Here's the president with the same thing.
Our military, through the North American Aerospace Defense Command, so-called NORAD, closely scrutinized our airspace, including enhancing our radar to pick up more slow-moving objects above our country, around the world. In doing so, they tracked 3 unidentified objects, one in Alaska, Canada, and over Lake Huron in the Midwest. They acted in accordance with established parameters for determining how to deal with unidentified aerial objects in U.S. airspace. At their recommendation, I gave the order to take down these 3 objects due to hazards to civilian commercial air traffic and because we could not rule out the surveillance risk of sensitive facilities. We acted in consultation with the Canadian government. I spoke personally with Prime Minister Trudeau from Canada on Saturday. And just as critically, we acted out of an abundance of caution and an opportunity that allowed us to take down these objects safely. Our military and the Canadian military are seeking to recover the debris so we can learn more about these 3 objects. Our intelligence community is still assessing all 3 incidences. They're reporting to me daily and will continue.
So he's saying they're still recovering the debris. The last one that they shot down was on Sunday. Today is Thursday. This is not alive, but this is what he spoke on today. 4 days after the last one, 6 days after the first one. And you're telling me you ain't found no debris? Nothing that y'all can bring on there and shit. This is what it looked like. Or you just not gonna show us? What's up, Get 'em, Jank? Appreciate you stopping through. They ain't gonna show us nothing. Or how much of the debris. But he's gonna actually repeat what Secretary Dalton said.
Urgent efforts to do so, and I will communicate that to the Congress. We don't yet know exactly what these three objects were, but nothing.
They don't exactly know what they were. So that means that you haven't got any debris, or you got debris, you just don't want to tell us what these objects are. One of the two, I mean, one of them got to be right, one of them got to be wrong. Either you found objects or you didn't find it. Because you don't know what they are. You still don't know what they are.
Right now suggests they were related to China's spy balloon program or that they were surveillance vehicles from any other country. The intelligence community's current
right there. They said they know it's not from China and no other country. So if it's not from China and it's not from no other country, then what is it? Man, if you don't listen to what this dude says they are, I don't know who wrote this shit for him and told him to say this shit, but that's where I go back to. Okay, if it is, why them motherfuckers don't want their money? Y'all remember the size they said was the first one was so-called from China. Yeah, they better stop shooting shit. Exactly, get them jank.
assessment
Here we go.
is that these three objects were most likely balloons tied to private companies, recreation, or research.
Do you hear this bullshit right here? He said they probably are balloons tied to independent companies within the United States. Come on, Biden. God damn. You really gonna say that shit like and expect people to really believe that shit? Hey, let me hear this nigga again, man.
Objects were most likely balloons tied to private companies, recreation, or research institutions studying weather or conducting other scientific research. When I came into office, I instructed our intelligence community to take.
So if that's what you believe they were, just weather balloons or people doing scientific discovery, why the fuck would you shoot it down? Yeah. He the president, I understand, but man, come on, bro. You know, sometimes that's how I speak. This motherfucker here, because what he's saying, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, if you thought they were weather balloons, if you thought they were just doing scientific studies in the sky and they balloons, why you shoot them down? Why you didn't try to find out, man, who doing this shit? But you didn't. You immediately shot that shit down, and then you ain't found the debris. Or you found the debris and don't want to tell us what the debris looked like. But please don't come with that 1947 picture of like the Roswell. But y'all couldn't find it. I'm gonna let Riley speak to you in a minute.
Take a broad look at the phenomenon of unidentified aerial objects. We know that a range of entities, including countries, companies, and research organizations, operate objects at altitudes for purposes that are not nefarious, including legitimate scientific research. I want to be clear. We don't have any evidence that there has been a sudden increase in the number of objects in the sky. We're now just seeing more of them, partially because the steps we've taken to increase our radars, to narrow our radars. And we have to keep.
You hear that bullshit there? The same thing Secretary Dalton said. You increasing your radar, not for faster things, for slower. Please make that make sense. Somebody has to need that's a reporter that's in these bills need to catch these dudes and ask them a simple question. How do you need a radar for something slower when you have a radar for the fastest machine in the sky. Your F-15s or whatever, passenger planes. That doesn't make any sense that you would have to do it to make it slower. Come on,
adapting our approach to dealing with these challenges. That's why I've directed my team to come back to me with sharper rules for how we will deal with these unidentified objects moving forward, distinguishing between those that are likely to pose safety and security risks that necessitate action and those that do not. But make no mistake, if any object presents a threat...
Why y'all want to do that now? What about the people, the three people that you say that's, was doing weather or scientific studies? They three shit is gone. Y'all just shot them out the sky. Now you want to be, right after you let that debacle of the balloon go all the way across the country, which, somebody going to have to make. Did you guys find a direction recorder in there or some kind of, I don't know, some kind of machine that controlled it to make it turn from China and go all the way up to Alaska and then come all the way down across? Y'all had to find something in that balloon, because that balloon did some hell of a maneuvers. Because y'all ain't even told us that. Y'all just said, it was just a balloon with what looked like some solar panels on the bottom of it. That sure looks different than four bus loads or four buses, the size of four buses compared to the size of a car. Those is totally different objects. Totally. You shot the little cars down and left the bus go all the way across the country. But okay, all right, I'll go with y'all.
For the safety and security of the American people, I will take it down.
Yep, we know that.
I'll be sharing with Congress these classified policy parameters when they're completed, and they'll remain classified so we don't give our roadmap to our enemies to try to evade our defenses. Going forward, these parameters will guide what actions we'll take while responding to unmanned and unidentified aerial objects. We're going to keep adapting them as the challenges evolve, if it evolves. In addition, I've directed my national security advisor to lead a government-wide effort to make sure we are positioned to deal safely and effectively with the objects in our airspace. First, we will establish a better inventory of unmanned airborne objects in space above the United States airspace and make...
He said man and unmanned. See, but like I said, one of the pilots said he's seen instruments in one of them. I don't know if it's the first day, the second one, or the third one. One of them pilots said there was instruments in it, and another pilot, I don't know if it's the same pilot, said one looked like an octagon. I'm going to go back to that video that I was just playing with the people that did it during the Super Bowl, and they're going to say some of the dumbest shit I've heard. They're going to say there was an object that may have had a balloon or something in it, because there was no propulsion. They couldn't find nothing. They didn't understand how it was sitting in the sky. We don't have that ability yet to put some shit other than a balloon with helium in it. But they said these objects was moving without no propulsion system. So it had to be moving at the speed of what these pilots were seeing. It wasn't just sitting. One of them was just sitting. But that they was rolling around and it wasn't communicating. It was just looking at, what the fuck you rolling around me for? Why you fucking with me? I ain't doing that. As soon as you didn't, fuck it, we shoot it down. But let's hear the president some more.
Sure that inventory is accessible and up to date. Second, we'll implement further measures to improve our capacity to detect unmanned objects in our airspace. Third, we'll update the rules and regulations for launching and maintaining unmanned objects in the skies above the United States of America. And fourth, my Secretary of State will lead an effort to help establish a global common global norms in this largely unregulated space. These steps will lead to safer and more secure skies for our air travelers, our military, our scientists, and for people on the ground as well. That's my job as your president.
Why is it going to help the scientists? You should just say it planes and military planes or something. But you scientists and all that, the niggas can't fly by themselves. They got to be in a plane. You might as well just say a plane. The scientists should be one of the smartest, dumbest scientists that I heard. I want to play some of his video, but I can't even stand that brother because I can't understand. He's a, well experienced physiologist or whatever. That Tyson dude, oh my goodness. He's the smartest, dumbest scientist I know. I just don't understand because he jokes so much about extraterrestrials and knowing that he's smarter than the average motherfucker. He knows that, if you put it and say there's the ability out of all these stars that's in the sky, there's the ability. Just say if 1% of those stars, anything that you go outside and look, that there's another planet out there with existence, wouldn't they be alien to us? So aliens, in fact, why are we the only? Why is it so mandatory that we be the only beings existing on a planet? That just doesn't make any sense when you're looking up in the sky at night, seeing all these stars, which are suns, just like our sun, and those stars have the ability to have planets circling them. How could it be so far-fetched that not one of them, the distance that they're so far away from us, we'll never know? But we know that's a star, we know that's a sun, and there's the possibility of a planet going around. So when he says that, and that goes with a lot of people, I believe, try to say that if you're that minute in your mind to say that we're the only beings that can inhabit a planet, man, that is just crazy. So what we seeing, they're even saying it, they just basically trying to sugarcoat it and telling us. They don't even know what they shot down. Now they just said that. We still trying to investigate. But if it's not from this planet, if nobody is taking any saying, man, that you shot my shit down. Nobody is on this whole planet is saying that. Not scientists, not, as he said, private entities that were just sending their shit up there for weather or scientific studies. None of them niggas said, man, you just shot down $1 billion instrument we had in the sky. Not one. So it can't be from here. But
Commander-in-Chief, as the events of the previous days have shown, will always act to protect the interest of the American people and the security of the American people. Since I came to office, we've developed the ability to identify, track, and study high-altitude surveillance balloons connected with the Chinese military. When one of these high-altitude...
See, now this is the crazy part, because they're going back to balloons. They want to make everything a balloon to y'all. Man, they wouldn't just nothing but a balloon. We shot down 3. How you don't know what a balloon is then? But he gonna go back to this balloon shit. They wrote this up for him to say. You know what I'm saying? Oh, okay.
Surveillance
Monique,
balloons entered our airspace over the continental United States earlier in the month. I gave the order to shoot it down as soon as it would be safe to do so. The military advised against shooting it down over land because of the sheer size of it. It was the size of multiple school buses and it posed a risk to people on the ground if it was shot down where people lived. Instead, we tracked it closely, we analyzed its capabilities, and we learned more about how it operates. And because we knew its path, we were able to protect sensitive sites against collection. We waited until it was safely over water.
So since we knew his path, let's just dissect that a little bit. You knew his path. You didn't know his path when he got over to Alaska? Did you know the path when it got to Canada, or Canada just didn't tell you, hey, there's a big ass balloon crossing our country? Did y'all send that balloon? Y'all didn't talk then? You didn't talk in Idaho or in Montana? You couldn't have shot that down in Montana? There ain't shit in Montana. Ain't there's shit, but come on, man. There's a whole lot of land. You allowed that shit to go all the way across to watch it. But yet, the 3 items after this thing, after this big ass 4-bus balloon crossed the whole country, you decide, well, we gonna shoot everything else after that. We gonna send a motherfucking message. Who you send a message to? You didn't send it to China. You didn't send it to Russia. You didn't send it to nobody on this planet, because ain't none of them speaking up and saying, you shot my shit down. But all right.
Which would not only protect civilians, but also enable us to recover substantial components for further analytics. And then we shot it down, sending a clear message. The violation of our sovereignty is unacceptable. We'll act to protect our country, and we did. Now, this past Friday, we put restrictions on 6 firms that directly support the People's Republic Liberation Army, the People's Liberation Army aerospace program. That includes airships and balloons, denying them access to U.S. technology. We briefed our diplomatic partners and our allies around the world, and we know about China's program and where their balloons have flown. Some of them have also raised their concerns directly with China. Our exports have lifted components of the Chinese balloon's payload off the ocean floor. We're analyzing them as I speak, and what we learn will strengthen our capabilities. Now, we'll also continue to...
Your capabilities to do what? Send a balloon? That's going to advance our capabilities to send a balloon across the country. That ain't no... You want to impress me there, Biden? Get the evidence that you got from them 3 orbs that y'all shot down. That'll impress me. Show me what the hell their technology was and how they did what they did. You can make the same balloon. You ain't gonna learn nothing off a big ass balloon. Shit. They got balloon rides out here in Arizona. The motherfucker can hop in a basket and go on a balloon ride for a couple hours. It's just helium. Push it up. They ain't do very much. You're not gonna get very much technology out of that balloon. Show me them 3 things that you shot down. Show me what was in them, how they were constructed. Do that. Impress me on that. You're gonna show that shit? I doubt it very seriously. You're gonna give us a mock-up of some shit that looked like this could have been some shit that we shot down. I want to see the proof. I want to see what, technology that brought them.
Engage with China, as we have throughout the past 2 weeks. As I've said since the beginning of my administration, we seek competition, not conflict with China. We're not looking for a new Cold War, but I make no apologies, and we will compete. And we'll be responsibly manage that competition so that it doesn't...
Yeah, he couldn't even get his own thing, his own message across with that. So I believe, once again, they're going to lie. Period, point blank. They're not going to tell us what they shot down. My whole live was based on, is there more to come? Because we've been seeing these for years. You're not going to make me believe that you guys slowed your radar down and now you're seeing more objects. Y'all was seeing objects since, I keep bringing it up. Roswell, don't show us that's the shit that you shot down, because we're not going to believe it. But how long is it going to take y'all to tell? It's been 4 days since the last one, 6 days since the first one. And y'all ain't showed us nothing. You showed us with the balloon. You definitely showed us real quick. You showed us with the Marines on the boat, pulling the shit up. Yeah, it's a balloon. You ain't showed us the one in Alaska. You ain't showed us the one in Canada, and you surely ain't showed us the one in Lake Huron or Huron or however you want to say it. You ain't showed us no parts of it. However, I want to go back just real quick with this general because I want to bring the president in to show y'all that he's just going off the same thing the secretary was speaking when she was in this answering question and gave her first introduction to it. And her first statement out of her mouth was, one of the first statements was that the reason we're seeing so many different things in the sky is because we slowed down our radar. That right there, they need to explain why you forced, because every time I look at a radar, it's for speed. There's radars in front of this high school around the corner. You know what I'm saying? The police sitting in their car with a radar, they not going for the slowest person. You telling me that radar can't track that you're going 15 miles an hour on the freeway? Fuck, come on, man. That don't make no sense. That's why they seeing more. Nah, you're seeing more because you're looking up. People are looking up. That's why people are seeing more. That's why people are videotaping more of these objects in the sky. It's going to be more and more and more. And mark my word, like I say, anybody that taps in and sees this channel, first of all, subscribe to the channel. Second of all, when you do see it, just say that nigga Goob said that shit. Because you're not just shooting down already, you didn't see it. You don't know what the fuck you shot down. You don't know where it came from. You don't know nothing. Don't you think whoever or whatever sent them objects down to us ain't gonna want their shit or try to look for their shit, or like, that's why we gonna probably see more. We don't know that they could be here protecting the earth. We don't know that. That's why they always over shit that we have militarily that can destroy this whole planet, and that's nuclear. That's why they over nuclear reactors. That's why you see a lot of people and they say, well, they're over our nuclear installations. There is a video that's on YouTube where they got a video of one being over and shutting down that nuclear plant. They may have that ability. They know that we dumb enough to fuck this planet off. It's not just this planet. It's everything around this planet. It's everything from the moon, the sun, any other planets that orbit. Everything can get fucked off by us fucking off this planet. And that's what I always said about them shooting that missile and hitting that asteroid some 650 million miles or 650,000 light years from us, or 65,000 light years from us in a whole nother galaxy. You don't know what the fuck you did hitting that asteroid just because you want to see if you can knock it off course. Why were you doing some shit like that unless you knew that some shit was coming to us and they just want to test it, practice on something else? So you just practice on a whole nother hood, a whole nother place. You just practice on that shit. You don't know nothing else around that asteroid that y'all hit. You don't know nothing around it. You don't know if there's planets would exist, nothing. But y'all did that shit because it doesn't affect our planet. Right. Once again, Archangel, if it was an asteroid, we don't even know that part. We don't know what that was. We need to enact that Space Force. Where the Space Force at? The Space Force can tell us what the fuck was in our skies that they shot down. Can't they? I don't know. Maybe not. Let me get back to this.
The Canadians launched two F-18s plus their tanker as well to support this operation. The fighters were from Madison, Wisconsin Air National Guard unit. We utilized a tanker from Pittsburgh Air National Guard, and we had an AWACS on station from Tinker Air Force Base, Oklahoma. That's all I have for my operational update, and I look forward to your questions.
Now,
Secretary Dalton, General Van Herk, thank you both. For our first question, we'll go to Associated Press, Tara Kopp.
Interesting. Now, here's where it gets interesting. And this is why I believe that they did it under the guise of the Super Bowl, because they're going to ask some questions. They don't really get answers that should be the right answers for the questions. My point of view, you can just listen to it and take for what you think. Was that a good explanation for this question or not?
Hi, thank you very much, both of you, for doing this at this late hour. For Secretary Dalton and for General Van Herk, we've had 4 shoot downs in the last 8 days. Can you talk about the sense of concern you have, and should Americans be worried? This is a very rare thing to have this many shoot downs or any shoot downs over U.S. airspace. And then secondly, General Van Herk, can you give us any indication of what your pilots are seeing and reporting? Thanks.
Hey, before we jump into the question, just a reminder, everyone, please mute your phones. Thank you. Sounds like we have an open mic out there. My apologies. Over to you, ma'am.
Great. Tara, thanks so much for the question and for dialing in also at a late hour. The safety and security of the American people are job number one for us at the Department of Defense, and certainly for NORAD and General Van Herk's team. We, following the track of the PRC balloon last week, as I mentioned at the top, we have been more closely scrutinizing our airspace at these altitudes, enhancing our radar, which may at least partly explain the increase in the objects.
See, she said it again. My bad. My camera, is my mic on? Can y'all hear me? Shit. Can y'all hear me? Not sure if my mic went out. Oh, okay. You'll hear. She gave the same answer again. They're saying that the reason we're seeing so much is because of our radar. I'm trying to get my camera back on. My whole shit went down. Y'all have to excuse me. But I want to just repeat, because I was fucking with this camera and I didn't hear how she asked this question.
We, following the track of the PRC balloon last week, as I mentioned at the top, we have been more closely scrutinizing our airspace at these altitudes, enhancing our radar, which may at least partly explain the increase in the objects detected. But we also know that there are a range of entities out there, whether they're private companies, research organizations, that operate objects at these altitudes for purposes that are not nefarious, including legitimate research.
Don't that sound like what the president said? Did he take off? Because they said they did this first. They did this on Super Bowl Sunday. The score should be going down at the bottom of the ticker at the bottom. But he just repeating exactly what she's saying. They're not even going to say it's outside. They're going to say this could be small entities or companies that's doing. Oh, them companies don't want their money. You just shot their shit out the sky. They don't want they money. Or y'all going to reimburse them. Well, shouldn't you say if you're going to reimburse somebody, they came to us and this was, I don't know, Cheerio company, whatever. And they was just doing surveillance over Canada without Canada knowing it. So we shot it down after we talked to the Canada president, who didn't know that a Canadian United States company was operating in Canada, and we just shot it down. That company don't want his money. This shit is all a script. This is all what they gonna tell us. But trust and believe. It ain't gonna stop. Your radar system I guarantee you, is gonna be video. I still got videos that I haven't shown before I leave off here. Just happened in the last couple days. of people still filming shit in the sky. Why y'all ain't sending out all these F-15s all over there to get all the ones that's coming across this country? They ain't just being seen in Canada and Alaska. There ain't nobody in Alaska. So of course you ain't gonna get a whole bunch of, man, but we got California, we got Pennsylvania, I got one in Florida, I got a couple in Texas. All across the 50 states of the United States, they still filming videos of shit in the sky, orbs, fucking different lights. So it ain't gonna stop. My opinion, it's gonna get worse, because if you decide that every one of them you're gonna just shoot out the sky, sooner or later, as KCL says, where their defense system is, they're gonna use their defense system. You don't think they're gonna use their defense system sooner or later? Or they just gonna allow their shit to get just shot down every time we think it's a threat? They've already said, as us, as United States, our government already said, well, they're not a threat to our military. They don't seem like they're a threat to humans. Oh, but we just gonna shoot the shit down. Eventually the motherfuckers gonna say, well, shit, they being aggressive. Why the fuck we can't be aggressive? They just shot two of my homies down. I don't know where my homies at. And that's just speaking from a, hood person. How niggas talk. Hey man, where my homie at? Eventually they gonna want some get, or eventually they gonna get just as aggressive as we are to them, they are to us. That's how they gonna get. They gonna, like, say, get them jank, they gonna want that action. We probably gonna see them before the news. Oh yeah, I guarantee we're gonna see more and more. Oh, I'm looking up every day. I'm looking up every day I go outside just to, look around. Let me play this. Let me try to fix my camera.
But because we have not been able to definitively assess what these recent objects are, the president wanted to act out of an abundance of caution to protect our security and our interests. So we will remain vigilant. We have made these enhancements to our radars, and the operations this past week have been successful in bringing down these potential threats. And we are hard at work now recovering the debris to better understand certainly the capabilities of the surveillance balloon from the PRC, but also the nature of these unidentified objects, to better understand, were they surveillance objects? What was their purpose? What are their capabilities? And we look forward to sharing more as we learn more in the coming days.
Thanks, Melissa. Let me just add on. So your question was about citizens being considered. I've assessed all of these to be non-kinetic threats to the homeland, and I don't see that changing even when we were.
See, he keeps saying they're non-kinetic threats or whatever he supposes that to mean. Okay, I guess that means it's not a threat to humans or military or anything. This general continues to keep saying that they didn't seem like no threat. Well, then, ain't we making a threat by shooting them down? Ain't we making a threat by firing on them? You can't just keep doing that and somebody just gonna keep sitting down because you said, as long as they keep in our airspace, we're gonna knock them down. You gonna keep knocking them down, and they just gonna keep allowing you to knock them, even if it's a private entity, even if it's a private company. They gonna just let you keep shooting their shit down. My thing is, you can continue to say that as much as you want. You can continue to say that's what you think they are, but ain't nobody speaking up on this planet and saying that's my shit. You just shot down 3 of them from 3 different companies. I don't know. But like I said, I run this because you got to listen to the questions.
debris. Every day, NORAD, United States Northern Command, are ready to defend, sir, as required. So I think this is a story where we were successful in detecting and if needed to respond. What I would tell you is what we're seeing is very, very small objects that produce a very, very low radar cross section. I'm not going to go into detail about shapes or anything like that, really, because it's really.
So if y'all listen to what he said, the reason why they losing them in radar, and okay, I guess this is what you have to do to slow it down. No, you got to change your radar system to pick them up. See, what they not telling us is that whatever these objects are, they avoiding our little minute radar system that we have on this planet. They have the ability to get past our radar system and we not being knowing it's even there. Because if you go back to the video of the Chicago O'Hare incident, the pilots was asking the control tower, do you see this that's overhanger, whatever hanger that was, that it was over? Do you see this? The pilots was looking out their window and looking up at something in the sky. And they're asking the control tower, do you see this? And the control tower kept saying, no, we don't see anything. So they have the ability to avoid our radar system. They trying to tweak the radar, saying, oh, we got to slow it down for slow moving. No, you're not telling the whole story. You're trying to tweak your whole radar system to figure out how the fuck is this avoiding our radar. That's more importantly what they're trying to say. They're just doing it in this terminology that goes right over anybody that was listening to this outside of the people that was looking at the Super Bowl. Because the only people that was looking at Fox News during the Super Bowl, yeah, you really don't have a life. You're not a sports person. So they knew it wasn't going to be nobody listening to this right here. And when I seen it and found, damn, I'm going to show y'all in the ticker. I was trying to show y'all yesterday. You'll see the score of the football game going across it.
Really, really difficult for pilots. At the altitudes we're operating, it's a very, very slow object in the space, if you will, going at the speed of the wind, essentially. And our pilots are going 100 miles per hour to give us what I would consider a factual, scientific-based description of what we see. And therefore, I'm hesitant to tell you that. With that being said, I would like to talk about the radar and the challenges that we face. Something going this slow. So as Assistant Secretary Dalton talked about, radars essentially filter out information.
He's about to bullshit us about the radar. They about to bullshit the American public about the radar system right here. You got to explain the whole thing on the radar system, young man. You just can't bullshit us and say an object going this slow. We couldn't. Yeah, okay.
Based on speed. So you can set various gates, we call them velocity gates, that allow us to filter out low speed clutter. So if you had radars on all the time that we're looking at anything from 0 speed up to say 100, you would see a lot more information. We have adjusted some of those gates to give us better fidelity on seeing slower objects. You can also filter out by altitude. And so with some adjustments, we've been able to get a better categorization of radar tracks now. And that's why I think you're seeing.
See, and that's what Omar was saying yesterday. If you listen to what he said, we had to calibrate our thing from 0 to 100. Wouldn't you have to say you have to calibrate your shit from 1,000 down to 0? Because the speed of a plane is more than 0 to 100. Is your object already, or your radar already calibrated for the speed? But now you're slowing it down.
These overall. Plus, there's a heightened alert to look for this information. I hope that adds additional clarification.
Just one quick follow-up. 4 shoot downs in 8 days. When was the last time that U.S. fighters were scrambled and shot something down over U.S. airspace? I can't remember anything. And it just seems like there's a large and quick escalation to shooting down objects.
Right.
I'll have to get with our historians. I believe this is the first time within United States of America airspace that NORAD or United States Northern Command has taken kinetic action against an airborne object.
Thank you. The first time that they done did this, as long as these objects as long as they've been being recorded, whether y'all believe them or not, I know everybody that's in this chat, everybody that sees this, you've probably seen a recording and said, "Oh, that's bullshit. Oh, that's fake. Oh, that's CGI." But just think how long people have been showing this shit or talking about this shit. They've been here for years. This is the first time that they done shot down 4 objects in 8 days. If we're going all the way back to the balloon, which you should have shot a long time ago, you let that go all the way across. But after that, once you let that get to the eastern seaboard, shit, you went on a shooting spree. Back to back. And she asked a viable question. Why is it escalating now? That's what people need to get. Why is it escalating now? Why are you making it that position that we're going to get everything now? When you know they've been here for centuries. Whether people believe that or not, they've been here for centuries. I mean, at least I know to the Bible days, because there's surely in the Bible, if anybody wants to believe that. Ezekiel's wheel, parting of the sea, burning bush, Jacob's ladder. Just to name a few. But okay, they're going to tell us what they want to tell us.
Thank you, Tar. Thank you, sir, ma'am. Let's go to Jen Griffin, Fox News.
Hey, thanks, Pat. This is Liz. I'll be asking for Jen today. Are these balloons that have been shot down since Friday, or are they?
As soon as Fox come on there, they ask, are these balloons? Lady, they done already told you they ain't but one balloon. The rest ain't balloons. They done told you that. But yet she wants to ask that question to make sure, hey, they were all balloons. The same ones that was coming past in the Trump administration that they don't want to talk about. Those same balloons. Or they could have been same objects. They just let them pass.
Weather balloons?
Weather balloons.
You want me to take
Thanks
that?
very much for the question. Yep, go ahead, Glenn.
Yeah, so I'm not going to categorize them as balloons. We're calling them objects for a reason. Certainly the event off the South Carolina coast for the Chinese spy balloon, that was clearly a balloon. These are objects. I am not able to categorize how they stay aloft. It could be a gaseous type of balloon inside a structure, or it could be some type of a propulsion system. But clearly, they're able to stay aloft. I would be hesitant to and urge you not to attribute it to any specific country. We don't know. That's why it's so critical to get our hands on these so that we can further assess and analyze what they are.
See, to get their hands on them, they ain't got their hands on them yet. Or they just not telling us they got their hands on them. Or my belief is I don't think they shot all of them down. I think they shot at them. I think they may have damaged them. I think they may have hit them. I just don't think they knocked all of them down. I just find that hard to believe that they did. And that's just my personal point of view. because they would at least give us something. If they found something, the same way they did with that balloon. Or it's more than they can handle, and it's more than what they think the public can handle. When they show this motherfucker got instruments in it, steering wheel, fucking digital dashboard, what kind of music they listen to on Sirius, some shit like that. I wouldn't put it past. You know what I'm saying? If they technology where we getting it from by shooting them down years ago, this ain't the first time we done shot this shit down. What do you think we got all this technology for? What they make Area 51 for? Whether we think about it or not, they won't even let you in there. Bet you better not hop that gate. They reverse engineering technology that they done shot down. So they're not going to show us. They'll throw a fake, and I always go back to it. They give you a fake motherfucker with some metal sheet foil, like in the Roswell incident, and nigga, you roll with that. Or they ain't gonna show it at all. We couldn't find it. Because that's what they might as well use now. We couldn't find it because it's taking y'all too long to show us what you found. Exactly. Archangel, the Battle of LA. They tried the same thing of shooting some shit down. If anybody wants to go back, which is a true story, which is in the newspaper, the Battle of LA off the Pacific coast. They shot over 3,000. I'm trying to get the number correct of the bombs, whatever. I'm not going to even 100-pound bombs. I don't know. It was over 3,000 of them that they shot at an object in the sky. And it made the newspaper. They called it the Battle of LA. They made a movie out of it. They changed the whole instance of that movie. But it's actually, if you look up the Battle of LA, you'll surely see. They don't have much of a picture. They just have lights going up in the sky. Let me see if I can find that. Hold on. Give me 1 second, y'all. 1 second. All right, this is. Let me move this. I'll bring that back. Let me pull something up. All about Catalina Island. Yeah, that's off the Pacific coast. Anybody that's stays in California, shit, it's only a couple hour boat ride to get to Catalina Island. A lot of people go out there and spend the day and come back. No, that's not what I wanted. Hold on. But yeah, right in the middle. I think they were saying it was over Santa Monica or either Redondo or Venice Beach, whatever in that little area. They all connected. You can go from Santa Monica and walk straight to Venice. You can go from Venice to Redondo Beach. Redondo Beach connects to whatever that beach is after that. I ain't really been that far down. I know for a fact, though, Santa Monica connects with Venice and Venice connects with Redondo. But I'm gonna let y'all see what the picture looks like. And this is what the picture looked like. The real Battle of Los Angeles, 1942. I don't really want to play. It's the top article there. You can see the lights, but that was the newspaper article that was on the front of the news in Los Angeles. A lot of people didn't talk about it. Like I remember asking my grandma about it. They really didn't want to talk about it. Them older people, they didn't. It was just a fad. I mean, it's shit. Well, it's generational. If you ain't gonna believe in it, you're just not gonna believe in it. I don't want to play that video. They just basically talk about it. that was in San Diego. A man was filming them. They came back. Yeah. And yeah, they popping up out the ocean. Um, but like I said, this question and answer, they did this during Super Bowl. I didn't want to do a whole bunch of time on here. I just wanted to get some back to back, but try to do another one, man, and bring up a couple more videos. I do want to end letting y'all see. Shout out to UFO Sightings Daily. I use a lot of his videos, but I have a couple compilation of UFO videos. Some was in the last months of 2022, and some were in this year. But you check them out. Like I said, your belief is what you believe. You won't know unless you look up. If you never look up, you'll never know that it's there. That's all I can say. But I do believe, my personal opinion is that we're going to see more and more sightings. More and more people going to tape them, post them, whatnot. Because if they continue to shoot whatever their unknown is out of the sky, I have to believe that something is gonna want they shit back. Somebody's gonna come search for they homies, whichever ones made it back. See, and then you must look at the trickery, because if they never show us nothing, they can say all day they shot something down. Maybe they hit it. Maybe they damaged it. But you didn't incinerate it. You haven't nothing that you incinerated. You probably split it up. You probably did something. I believe there's something that you didn't catch. Out of the three, you have to have some ability. Let me look up what G-Man said, man. What he said, interview. I want to see, because I have not seen this. I have not seen the oh yeah, I think I did. Yeah, I played this yesterday. I'm gonna have to look at it a little bit harder before I put it up. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow and do a live on what the pilots actually seen and what they spoke of. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna be the new Louis Armstrongs and all them, the people that talked about the moon. Nobody believed them. But pilots have always been speaking about things that they've seen in the sky. For whatever reason, they shut down Blue Book. Blue Book was for pilots to actually tell what they were seeing in the sky. For whatever reason, they closed that down. Should they open it back up? Because I'm pretty sure more and more pilots are seeing shit. If we ain't seeing shit, I guarantee you we're gonna start seeing shit. If they continue, like I said, they continue to shoot shit down that they don't know where it came from, yeah, you're gonna have a problem because you're being aggressive. And then you don't think a action is gonna bring a reaction. It is in any other lifestyle. A reaction brings a reaction. Do you think that they don't have a reaction? Casey Elves asked, what was their defense? Maybe they didn't want to use their defense. Maybe their defense was too powerful for us. Maybe what they have is way too powerful than what we have. A missile is nothing to them, to what they could do. Their technology is way more advanced than us. If anything can get to you, people must understand, if anything can get to us, but we can't get to it, their technology has to be way more advanced to us. We can't get past the moon. For some people, we've never been to the moon. I sincerely, no, that's not right. That's wrong. We've been to the moon. It's just the fact that whatever we seen on the moon, we couldn't compete with and said, shit, we're gonna have to wait, get our, we got to get our shit up before we can go back to that moon, fucking with that moon. Because we were seeing shit. They wasn't briefing them NASA astronauts for no months at a time. And they wasn't saying, yeah, we seen some shit. If you've seen any of my lives, I've sold some shit that doesn't make sense to me. It may like to you, but I seen some shit that shit shouldn't be there on the moon. Not if a asteroid hit that crater. Some people say I seen something on live on a video where they said, well, it hit the crater, asteroid hit the crater, and it blew stuff up, and when it came back, it landed down. Well, it don't land like fucking buildings. It don't land like domes. The fuck is domes doing on? But that's for another live. If you haven't seen, go back to one of my lives when I talk about the moon and what to me looks like basically a bridge, a fucking county building, fucking stadium, but just looks like to me if you do it into an angle. Of course, if I look at it from the top bottom, they can give the uh, assumption that it's just craters, but that's just the illusion. That if you don't look at it from the side, anything looks at it from the top, anything that's floating around, they can't. We have that now. We have the ability to make shit look different when it actually is. You don't think anything more advanced than us ain't had that technology way before? We have to look at it like that. You have to think of it in that aspect. You have to think about brain kids that think way different than the average person that just goes to school and gets a high school diploma. Your mind is a little bit. One thing I did like what Neil deGrasse Tyson said is just think of this. As humans, we are, how do you say it? 1% smarter than the monkey. But yet the monkey ape can't talk. The most it can do is sign language. But we have the same genetics. We have everything the same as a monkey. We're just 1% different than that monkey. That money, we can't understand nothing it says, nothing. He can't stand nothing that we say or nothing. It only do hand language. Just think if there's an entity that's 1% smarter than us. Just think if there's an entity out there, we're just 1% smarter than or 2% smarter than even though we have 98% of his genes, of the same genes and all that, right? What if it's another entity that has the same genetics as us, but is 2% smarter than us? They would look like us. They would look at us like we look at monkeys. Dumb motherfucker don't know what we saying. And with that, I'm gonna let that linger on to you. Linger in your head. Think about it. While I play this video, I think I'm gonna play a little music with it before I head out. But I just wanted y'all to check out these UFOs videos real quick.
I don't know. Are those missiles? It's in threes every time. What the fuck is that?
goes again. Yeah, that's not fucking fireworks. See, it's over there.
And they're going higher in different direction.
Dad! Come here! Hurry up!
There it is. And it's going
There's something
across
in the sky.
fucking
Shit
earth.
you not. Hurry
Come
up.
on, son, it's going across the earth. Look. Look. Look.
The fuck is that?
Look. Fucking record that. What is that?
What the fuck is that?
Are you recording?
Yes.
Yeah. Is that a meteorite or something coming to Earth?
No. What the hell is that? I mean, that's some weird shit. I don't know. Been watching it now for about a half hour.
It's like that meteorite or that asteroid tried to pass.
Freaking China at it again.
I don't know. What? It's not fireworks because it's moving.
No.
Like
because I just do it my way. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody that came through. That's just a few videos that I wanted to show. That one that I was showing was a long one about a tic tac going across the sky. I didn't want to be on it this long. I just wanted to get into the misinformation that's going on about these UFOs shooting down. Like I say, for everybody, please just look up. Take the time out your day, sometime, maybe 15, 20 minutes, man, and sit down, smoke a blunt, cigarette, drink a beer, whatever. Sit down outside and look up. We're going to get more and more of these sightings. You're going to see more and more on the internet. You're going to see more and more on TikTok, Instagram, whatnot. And as long as we continue to shoot something down that we don't have no idea where it come from. The thing that people need to be asking the question is, where is the debris of those objects that you shot down over these last 8 days? Where you showed one with the balloon. Show us the rest of them. Hey, until then, I'm trying to hold some of this content. Yeah, I may do something tomorrow. Once I find these pilot communications, I'm gonna do a study and look that up, because I want you to understand that. Once again, I will bring up this interview that they did, or this question and answer that they did on Sunday Super Bowl while nobody else was looking at it. And they say that because if you listen at the last part of this general's conversation before I cut it off, he said that we can't take what the pilots were saying because the objects weren't moving and the pilots were moving at 6,000, 4,000 miles per hour, whatever they call it. So what they're doing is trying to tell the pilots they didn't see what they saw. If a pilot says he's seen something that's an octagon, oh, no, you didn't see that. You was moving too fast. It was just sitting there. But this pilot clearly said that, or they brought that up, that's what the pilot said. I want to find that pilot communication. They need to release, just like they would do with any other, like a pilot crash. When they find the black box, they want to release what happened. They listen to it. I'm sure they listen to what these pilots were actually communicating back to the tower or whoever was monitoring them when they sent them out. What do you see? What does it look like? They explained exactly. Before they shot it down, they knew, is it communicating with you? Use your radar, do a laser test, see if it gives you a laser back. But you have to remember, if anybody's old enough to remember Close Encounters of the Third Kind, before they could communicate with that mothership or whatever, remember they had that music song, do 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 do, and they was playing it they brought an organ out there to play exactly what this object was sending to our country. They couldn't understand what the fuck is they saying until they got on and started playing in the exact same tune that this object was. Maybe that object was sending the tune back to us and to the pilots, or to the when they said they couldn't get no communication. What makes you think if this coming from somewhere else, our communications is the same as their communication? They don't communicate like us. Just like, shit, I don't know Chinese. I can't communicate with a Mexican person when they talk in Spanish. We have those difficulties here on our planet. So what makes you think if something is not from our planet, we won't have the same communication differences with them? Our objective, as being a hostile planet anyway, since they can't communicate us and we don't know what they saying, we just gonna shoot their ass down. That's not the right way to go about it. Because I'm pretty sure they coming back to say, hold on, you don't need to be that aggressive. They gonna give us a show of some kind of something, man. We just not gonna be able to continue to shoot this shit down, not knowing where it's coming from. Especially if it's not coming to no country on this planet. then where else is coming from? And I'll say this before I leave. If it's not a private company, if you're saying it's a private company and they do that for surveillance and they've always been doing that, or they just starting to do that now? Do you know the companies that has been sending up for weather and scientific? You didn't talk to them before you shot it down? No, you shot that shit down. Well, why they ain't came and said, man, the government need to pay for our motherfucking shit you just shot down and cost us $1 million? Because if it was doing what you guys are allegedly saying in these news conferences, that these objects weren't communicating, no way, no matter what we said, it wasn't a threat to military. It wasn't a threat to humans. You just shot it down. Somewhere that's going to have to come in an explanation sooner or later. But yeah, I've been in here long enough. I appreciate everybody that stopped through and supported this channel, man. Like I say, subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button for me. You know what I'm saying? Catch you on the next one. Hopefully I'll be in tomorrow with these pilot conversations. Until then, y'all continue to look out. Shout out to all my Pomona homies south with it. S's. You know what I'm saying? Until the next time, peace out. I'm out of here.